The World War is a topic that we have to learn about in school. I learnt about it in primary school and in high school, and let me tell you, we learnt it quite differently in high school compared to how we learnt it in primary school. One way in which we learnt about it, which stood out to me, was we dressed up. Now, this was in year 5 and 6. I think this was when I was year 5. For those of you who are in the US, this is what that is in grades. Now, in my primary school, we had 3 classes for year 5 and 6. And for all of those classes, we learnt the same topics. So when we were learning about the World War, our teachers decided that it would be a good idea to dress up as children from the war. This would mean like wearing the style of clothes they had, maybe bringing in a few like props, like having a suitcase with you or stuff like that. Now my mum just so happened to know a friend who had some stuff from World War II. This included a helmet in which the soldiers wore. The paint was chipping off, but what do you expect with its age? And the second was a gas mask, specifically for a child. The night before it was dress up day, my mum gave it to me so I could see what it was like. I tried it on and, well, fit perfectly. But then comes the next day. Now I didn't wear the helmet or the gas mask during the day. What happened was I brought them in a separate bag and just put them in the cupboard of my teacher's classroom. And the plan was at the end of the day, I could show them off to the class. So it comes to about 3 o'clock, 15 minutes before the end of the day. For some reason my school ended at 3:15. Bit of an odd time considering other schools finished at 3 or 3:30. But at the time I didn't think too much of it. And to be honest, I'm overthinking it now. First thing I do is I show off the helmet, which nothing eventful happened, but then comes the gas mask. I show the gas mask off and then I demonstrate putting it on. And what happens as I am lifting it over my head? At the top bit here, God, I feel like I'm a teacher. There are 2 straps here to which you would put it over your head with and it would secure it in place. From memory, I can't remember too well, this was primary school, for God's sake, I'm in college now. There was just 1 strap that went from one side all the way to the other. Now, since I was young, I wasn't thinking too much about it. I wasn't really considering its age. I wasn't really considering how fragile it might be. So I hold the gas mask and I pull the strap, put it over my head, and the next thing I know, snap. What happened was the elastic, which was on one side, snapped off and it was dangling now from just the one side. And everyone in the class noticed. And my teacher, who was sitting at his desk, said to me, "Everything all right?" And what was my response? Well, while holding it, I just said, I think I've broken it. And then I just continued on talking about it like nothing had happened. And needless to say that when the end of the day came and I went outside to my mum, who was picking me up, and I told her what happened, well, to say that there was a shocked look on her face would be an understatement. She wasn't too pleased with me, obviously. And thankfully she didn't really have to pay for the damages. She just bought her friend a few pints at the pub to say sorry. Next day when I go into school, the first thing that happens is my teacher comes up to me and says, "Everything all right about the gas mask? Like, you're not in too much trouble about it, are you?" I think he felt a little guilty, because if it wasn't for this whole event of dress up, then I wouldn't have brought that gas mask in and it would have still been in good condition. And I said it's alright, it wasn't that much damage. But needless to say, looking back on it now, I can't believe what I did, especially nowadays with how carefully I treat things, which you really think I wouldn't need to treat carefully, but I do. I can't believe how badly I treated that thing. So if there's anything to be taken away from this, if you are going to demonstrate something to your class, and this thing you are demonstrating is quite old and a bit fragile, and maybe from the same era as one of the world wars, then all I can say is be careful. It's best if you don't demonstrate anything and you just hold it in your hands and show it to the class. Because if you try and demonstrate it, you might be in the same predicament as me. And for all you know, the damage could be a lot more worse. And needless to say, I don't think I will be borrowing anything from my mum's friend again. And if for some reason you are watching this, I never saw you in person, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I would have felt so embarrassed by what would have happened. But my apologies, I am very and truly sorry.